Okay, hi everybody. Today is Thursday, May 3rd, 2018, and welcome to our SendOutCards Success Weekly Webinar. And today I'm super excited. We're going to be talking a little bit about value. So each of these webinars are divided into two parts. One part we're talking about just the practical day-to-day SendOutCards training, and then the other part is motivational. And it's funny because I was talking to Semerau over a few days ago, and I told her, that I really wanted these webinars to be authentic to who I am. And that's who I am, right? Like part of me is very, let's get down to business, let's get practical, let's talk dollars, numbers, cents, and what can we do to be more successful. But the other part of me also is very much about kind of that motivational mindset. So let's jump in. Today we're talking all about value. So in the training portion for today, we're going to talk about the value proposition that each of our new packages has to offer and ways that you can frame that when you're talking to either current customers and referral partners that you're trying to help them figure out which of the packages are going to be best for them. And then also talking to brand new people who have never even heard of SendOutCards before and how you can talk to them about the value proposition, because obviously it's going to be super easy to talk about the value proposition to new customers and potential referral partners because there's no old habits to break, right? They don't know how it used to be. So you have to really stay concentrated and focused on the fact that anybody new to this doesn't know how it used to be. So get out of your head and don't even think about that, right? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They don't need to know that, well, we used to have all these complicated points and expenses and all of that stuff. They don't care, right? A new prospect wants to know what's in it for them. What does today's current offering have for them? So we have to get out of our heads about what used to be when we're talking new people, but we also have to be able to reframe the mindset of people who are used to doing it a certain way and now have to get used to the new packages. So we're going to talk about those value propositions and how you put those forward. And then in our motivational portion of today's webinar, we're actually going to be talking about value overall. How do you add it? How do you find it? And how do you allow others to perceive the value that you personally bring to the table? So we're going to talk about that too. All right. So by the end of this webinar, you're going to know how to really talk dollars and cents with these new packages and kind of get out of your head about value versus cost. And you're also going to have a new way to wrap your mind around the value that you personally bring. And so let's dive in. All right, so when we're talking about the value propositions of each of the accounts that we now have to offer, I think it's super important to remember that we have amazing value now. I think that, so I was telling somebody, I'm going to tell you this story and then I'll jump into that. I was telling somebody the other day, I've been in SendOutCards since 2007, and the one thing that's never changed in SendOutCards is the end result. The end result is when somebody goes to their mailbox, they take out the card and go, oh my gosh, what is this? They open the card and whatever that message is, when it's a heartfelt message that you've sent, and especially, ones that have pictures in it or just a message of, hey, I saw on Facebook that you're going through something and I wanted to reach out to you, or whatever the message may be, that really touches their heart. And since 2007, that is the reason that I have been a referral partner with SendOutCards, because it truly gives me joy. Like, it jazzes me up to be able to go to somebody else and say, hey, I've got this great tool that helps you make a difference, not only in your own life, but in the lives of those that you reach out to touch. And let me show you how that works. And what I was telling, it was my husband, we were talking about this. And what I told him is, for the last 11 years, I have presented SendOutCards, told people about SendOutCards and all of that, because I am such a fan of that outcome, that I did it in spite of the technology. My background's in marketing and advertising. I've worked with tech startup companies and all of that kind of fun stuff. So I've always looked at SendOutCards and went, this is really archaic technology. but it didn't matter. It didn't matter to me. I promoted it for 11 years in spite of the technology. That's a pretty amazing thing, right? So when you think about that shift, now I'm super excited because I get to not only promote the end result, but also the technology. The technology has caught up, the packages have caught up. Everything now is kind of this perfect storm of where today's consumer is used to being, right? We don't have to overcome our technology. We just get to go with it because it's what everybody's used to. So that's a really fantastic place to be. So from a value proposition standpoint, when I'm opening up conversations with past customers or referral partners or people who are currently using the old system and have been on that for a while, that's how I open up the whole value proposition is, hey, I've got great news. SendOutCards is amazing. Now it's even more so because the technology has finally caught up to 2018 technology, and it's going to be a lot easier for you to use and make sense of. So I don't come at it like, hey, I got to tell you something. We've had this big change and it's going to be a real mess at first, but trust me, it's going to be great. Like, no, I don't go there, right? So part of the value proposition starts right here in between your ears. So I really want to encourage you that if you're having a struggle with the new packages and things like that, honestly, you have to wrap your mind around the fact that this is actually a really cool thing. So get outside of yourself. If you're stuck in the old technology, that's okay, right? Like it's okay for you personally to be maybe in that spot, but you have to stop letting that come across to your customers, because then your customers, your referral partners, or your new prospects are going to automatically start with that, I'm not sure I'm going to like this, because you're coming from a place of, oh, this isn't quite right now, but it'll be cool later, right? Makes sense? So your value proposition starts with mindset. So how do you package up each of our new packages when you're talking to people? What are the value propositions? Well, so let's go through each of those. Number one, the free one. I think that's pretty easy to come up with a value proposition on free, right? But the way that I approach this one is the value proposition on the free account is really that it saves you time and money, because really it starts with asking questions, right? You start asking questions to people. How many cards do you send? Or do you send birthday cards? Do you send thank you cards? You know, most of the time, if people don't have a system like this, they'll say something like, well, I send 1 or 2 a month, but I really need to send more. And if you can get them, so through asking questions, you get them to tell you basically which package is going to work best for them, and then you get to introduce the package, right? But for a free account, the value proposition is that it saves you the time of driving to the grocery store, standing in the aisle, picking out the card, purchasing the card, and then bringing it home and having to find a stamp and write out the address, and then you write out the card, and oh my gosh, if you make a typo while you're writing the card, you can't delete it, you have to cross it out or find some whiteout, all that kind of fun stuff. Nobody likes that. So the free account, the value proposition is you don't have to do that anymore, right? You do it right from your phone, right from your computer, and so it saves you time, number one. And that, I think, is kind of the biggest value proposition in today's society and today's economy, right? Like we have to kind of get out of our head that the economy has recovered, right, from where we've been. And so people are willing to spend, you know, maybe not hundreds of dollars more for something that they used to not spend anything at all or whatever, but people are willing to spend an extra $1 or $2 to get convenience, right? So here's the cool thing though, with the free account, they actually save time and money, because if they did all that, right, went to the grocery store, did all of that, they're also going to spend about $5 for a card. So all out the door with their gas and their time and the money that they spend, when you can say, hey, listen, just take your phone, put it on your phone, let me show you how it works, and then they're off to the races, and they can spend $275 a card, and then if they add a picture, it's $375. Are you kidding me? I can add photos of my friends that I'm sending the card to, and it's still less than the $5 I'm going to spend in the grocery store. I think that value proposition is pretty self-explanatory, right? So it's really just about showing them, hey, I'm going to save you time. I'm going to save you money. This is super easy. Take a look. Even if that's all you do is get people started on that free account and then say, hey, if you're using it and you like it, let me know, because I have, there's other packages, like there's other subscriptions that you can look into that are kind of cool. That's a great place to start. So if you're having problems at all with SendOutCards and the new packages and wrapping your head around the value, start there. Start with the free account. I remember at convention, Jordan stood up on stage and said, listen, my goal is to get the app on everybody's phone now, right? Because the app is coded to you. Now, granted, right now they're having some problems with that. So that's not today's strategy, but my strategy is going, okay, maybe it's not about getting the app on everybody's phone, but it is about getting as many people started on this account coded to me, so that as it goes and grows and it does become more feasible, I can give them a call and say, hey, we've really got this thing singing now. Let me tell you about this, that, the other. Okay, so that's the free account. The $17 account, this is a crazy value for people who are high touch. Okay, so if you're asking questions and they do say something like, well, you know, I really should send out more cards, or these are the people who are constantly, you see on Facebook, they're liking and loving everybody's pictures and they're constantly commenting, congratulations, or yes, I'm praying for you, or whatever it is. These are high touch people. So it doesn't matter what they do for a living. They just like to make a difference in people's lives. So the $17 account makes a lot of sense to them, because the value proposition on this one is that they get a discount, right? So they sign up for the $17 one. They can keep track of people. If you're high touch, even if you have a bit, I don't care. I don't care if you're a waitress or a bank teller, or, you know, just something that you get to actually do your job and then come home and leave your work at your job, and then you get home and you don't have to worry about it. And maybe you don't have to reach out to clients and customers to keep them coming back, but they're high touch. So high touch people want to make a difference in other people's lives. So it really does help to have that record of the cards they've sent and to be able to keep track of all of their people. So when you have high touch people, these are great people for the $17 one. Our value proposition is, hey, we make it really easy for you to keep in touch and make a difference in people's lives. And you can do that you can access the system for only $17 a month, right? So it's really important that when you put out the value proposition on that $17 a month one, that the $17 is connected to the system itself. Don't connect the $17 in any way, shape, or form to cards and gifts. The $17, the value proposition of that $17 is to access the system and keep track of the people that you want to keep in touch with, right? It keeps all of your contacts there. Once you put it in, it stays there, so you can easily send them another card. These are things that high touch people are really going to gravitate towards and love. Then you get to say, for the value proposition portion of it, when you attach it to the cards and gifts, is you get to say, hey, and when you are a monthly subscriber to the system, you actually get to have discounts on your cards and your gifts that you send, right? So you get it for less than retail. High touch people are going to love that. Really? So instead of $2.75 a card, it's only $2.25 a card. Oh, and by the way, if you want to throw in pictures, no extra cost. What? For $2.25 plus the cost of postage, I can do that. I can reach out and make a difference in people's lives and keep track of the things I'm sending and get discounts on all of that good stuff. Sign me up. I'm in, right? So there's your value proposition. So very important, $17 a month. Put the value proposition on access to the system, and then a discount off of retail from cards and gifts. So these are two obvious packages for people who are not necessarily business owners. It does not matter what they do for a living, right? My daughter Madison is a college student. She's 19 years old, and she is one of my newer referral partners. And she's kind of excited about this because it's going to be a matter of getting the app on her friend's phone so that when her friends need to send cards and gifts, even college students can afford $2.75 plus the cost of a stamp. Most of the time. Maybe not always. But so she's excited about that too, because she's going to be just going and growing her network of people who are coded to her for customers. And then as they get older and their needs increase, who are they going to come to? They're going to come to her. So this is fantastic. It doesn't matter what people do for a living on the first two packages. Okay, so there's your value proposition on those two. Now the value proposition for the 97 and the 147 flips over to people who do have that need for business. Okay, so these are for people who are not just business owners, not just entrepreneurs, but anybody who is dependent upon clients, right? So if you are in sales for absolutely any reason, it does not matter what you're selling. If you're selling widgets, if you're selling services, if you're selling business to business or business to consumer, it does not matter, right? You need to keep in touch. You need to build relationships. So the value proposition on the $97 a month one is to say, hey, listen, through asking questions, right? You get people to say, well, yeah, you know, I do have customers. Well, how many sales calls do you go on a month? Let them tell you, right? How many phone calls do you make a month? How many people do you actually close business with a month? And that's going to vary, you know, industry to industry. Whatever their answer is, right? There's always things going on, because even like in real estate, right? In my business, relationships are super important, right? So getting referrals from people when they hear about somebody going, oh, I think I'm going to buy, I think I'm going to sell. Hey, I want them to think immediately of me if it's in my area. Even if it's not in my area, I still want them to think of me, so that they're like, hey, can you connect us with somebody in another area and all that good stuff, right? So building those relationships are important. So everybody I come in contact with at any given time, right? Other realtors, got to send them cards, got to appreciate them, still have to build a relationship with them. My business partners that help me, right? In terms of my preferred lenders and my escrow team and my home warranty team and my home inspectors, all these people are people that I need to continue to have relationship with. Plus, how many people am I meeting through networking groups, through church events, through sitting on the board of a charity, whatever my extracurricular activities are, those are still ways that I want people to get to know me as well. So the value proposition, that's just an example of one industry, right? So whatever their industry is, whatever they tell you, doesn't matter. You can help them see that there are other relationships to celebrate besides just clients in and of themselves. So the value proposition on the $97 a month is that they get to send unlimited cards. How about, you know, being able to putting the value proposition, what if at the end of your day, you were able to send a card to anybody that you had to touch point with that day? So if you sat down with coffee with a potential client, if you made some phone calls to people, all of that good stuff, what if you were able to do that and you knew that your cost was fixed? That's huge. If I know that my cost is fixed, $97 a month, I can send absolutely unlimited cards. So everybody I touch today, I can sit down at the end of my day and send them a card so that they remember me, so that I'm celebrating whatever it was that we talked about that day. I'm reminding them of an appointment. I'm thanking them for their time, whatever the case may be. If my cost is fixed, then I can send out as many or as few as I want, but I know that when I'm doing my P&L and I'm looking at my bottom line, that cost isn't going to vary. So this is one of the things where I really think a lot of people who are getting caught up on the cost per card are really missing the boat. So if you're stuck somewhere in your mindset saying, you know, the cost per card is now a little bit more and I got to pay $97, I really want to encourage you to jump out of that mindset and into the mindset of a business owner who has to figure out their monthly expenses on what they spend on marketing. If I know my cost is $97 a month, no matter how many cards I send, then it's up to me to make that $97 a month work or not work. But for me to have a fixed cost instead of, well, if I send out, well, this month I sent out only 10 cards at $1.17 a card plus poster, blah, blah, blah. So this month I spent $16, but next month I'm going to send out 300 cards to invite people to an event. So that's going to, forget it. I want my fixed cost. So that's a value proposition on the $97 a month. I think they call that one that premium, right? I'm still trying to free, basic, premium, and enterprise. I think I finally got it. So that's the value proposition on the premium. So let's jump into the value proposition on the enterprise. The value proposition on the enterprise, to me, I mean, that's the one I'm on. It is a no-brainer. Once again, your value proposition is a fixed cost. This is, again, to a business owner. This is going to be for a business owner who not only wants to send out those unlimited cards, to maintain or build or grow professional and personal relationships so that they stay top of mind. You know, it goes back to that Maya Angelou quote, right? Where people forget what you say, they forget what you do, but they don't forget how you make them feel. So when you're using these cards to make people feel great about you, they're going to remember you in your business when they need you. So that's the number one value proposition across the board for a business owner. So having the fixed cost of $147 is fantastic. But I will tell you, for me, the way that I put this value proposition out there, now again, I'm in the United States where the cost of a stamp is currently 50 cents. So I make the distinction and let them know it's $147 for the package. And then you're going to pay another $50 in postage for these 100 cards. And we'll talk about that in just a second, how I can approach that. But I let them know, like, hey, so really your cost per month is going to be $197. Just get that out of the way, out of the door, right? So instead of saying, hey, your fixed cost is $147, oh, and then, you know, later on down the road, they're like, wait a minute, but all these cards I'm sending out as this group send, I'm sending this campaign, and now I have to pay extra for postage. Like, I get that out of the way right away and just let them know, hey, figure $200 a month, this is what you're spending. Right? And when you put it that way, people really have no problem. If they have a problem with $200 a month, then back it down to the $97 a month, right? Either one of those are great. They're fixed costs. The value for this one, though, is I believe it started at convention with Darla, who said that she's going to tell all of her customers they need to pick their top 100 list and send them a card every month. So they get to create one card one time, send it out to all 100. They have to send it right away in order for it to be a group send or something like that. But it doesn't matter. They have this fixed list of 100 people. So in this package, here's what I really want to encourage you is to put forward a value proposition of saying, listen, with this package, not only do you get to celebrate your daily events and reach out an unlimited number of times to people that you connect with throughout the day, but you also get to pick this top 100 list and make sure you're touching them once a month. These are going to be your top, A+ people in your database. These are going to be your top clients, your top referral sources. And you can let them know that that can shift on a month-to-month basis. It doesn't always have to be the same 100. So if they want to drop somebody off the list and then come back to it, it doesn't matter. But here's the great thing about it. What I'm telling people is that if they are signing up for the enterprise package, that I am happy to help coach them on a monthly basis in terms of what to send to those top 100. So for me, I'm doing a little bit added value and saying with this top package, this enterprise package, I'm going to give you a little bit of coaching. One-on-one coaching. We're going to just take 15 minutes a month. You and I are going to talk. We're going to get those sent out. Do you think that's worth it? Let me ask you a question. Would you spend 15 minutes a month with a client or a customer who's making you money? I think you would. So if somebody's going to sign up for that top package, that enterprise package, absolutely I'm going to take the 15 minutes a month to schedule out with them to help them figure out what should I send this month. We'll know their goals. We'll have talked about their goals. We'll have talked about who their ideal client is, all of that good stuff. So now every month I just get to help them kind of come up with the verbiage to put in a card and help them pick out maybe what card they want to send. To me, this is a no-brainer, right? But I don't think you even need to go there. Like, you don't have to do this coaching as part of the enterprise package. It's just a way I'm adding value to them. So the value proposition for that 147 enterprise is that, number one, on a daily basis, I have a fixed cost to send out as many cards to as many people that either crossed my mind, had phone conversations with, had meetings with, absolutely every day. So that's the number one. And then the number two is it's also going to help me solidify my relationship with my top 100 hit list. Would you spend $200 for that? I know I would. I mean, to me, it's like, yeah, okay, no brainer, sign me up. So there's your value proposition, right? So yes, free, saves you time and money. Don't go to the grocery store anymore. Don't spend $5 on a Hallmark card. Done. Basic, this is for the high touch people, right? These are for people who want to reach out, make a difference in people's lives. So we're going to, for only $17 a month, they get the system that's going to help them do that and send them reminders and all that good stuff. Oh, and by the way, you also get a discount. So it's kind of like a wholesale type of an account, if you will. And then the premium and the enterprise, the value proposition there are to business owners, salespeople, anybody who has the need to build professional and personal relationships. The benefits here, the value proposition is that it's a fixed cost and it's going to help you stay connected and stay in touch and stay top of mind with your business connections. And so that's kind of the way that I position those things. And I will tell you, people aren't going to spend $100 a month necessarily, unless they're like super high touch. But they're not going to spend $100 a month just to keep in touch with personal relationships. So the way I kind of pitch this, they'll put that into their business. Not a problem. They'll put that into their business. So then I let them know, like, hey, you've got unlimited numbers. So now, like, on your business's dime, you can celebrate your family members, your friends. You can send out, because it's unlimited. It doesn't matter. And so I let them know, as a benefit of this, you're also going to increase your personal relationships. So those are the value propositions. Yay! College students just won't be able to get one plain Starbucks drink. You're right, Karen, that's the cost of it, right? Is they're plain. Although I will tell you, that's actually really funny, because here I am with this. I took my daughter to Starbucks earlier. My daughter is pretty smart, because she was like, hey, let's go to Starbucks together. Okay, of course she knew I was going to treat. And then while we were there, she's like, hey, will you put some money in my SendOutCards account so I can send out Mother's Day cards? So she got her Starbucks and her SendOutCards. So anyway, so that is how I am recommending that you package up the value proposition of our new packages and SendOutCards. And guys, when you get there and you take out the mindset of like, ooh, the cost per card, forget the cost per card. Quit focusing on cost. Focus on value, because let me tell you something, when you focus on value, the price tag, that, like, it's insane. And I'm telling you, I have shown this to many business owners who have said to me, what? Like, when I tell them about the 147 package, they literally go, that's insane. That's insane. Like, they're ready. Let's go. Let's sign up. The only thing, so what I have been doing too, I will share this with you, a little tidbit. The other thing that I have been doing is, we all know we're having a little bit of problems with the migration. We're having some technical difficulties. So what I have been telling people is, I've been saying, hey, listen, I want to make sure you get the absolute best service. So I've got you teed up. We're ready to go. We know you're going to do that system. Let's do this. I'm going to call you, and then we make a date on the calendar. I'm going to call you on this date. This is when we're going to get you set up. If it's still not ready to go, I'll let you know, and then we'll get you signed up, later. But I want to make sure that as soon as you start paying the money, you can get the most value for this. And you know what? That's how I have overcome the fact that right now, like, some people weren't getting coded properly. Now I think they've got that fixed, but And that's just how I've done it in my world, right? So again, mindset, don't let any glitches keep you from telling people about this. The people I'm telling are all going like, what? That's crazy value. So come from that perspective of what? That's crazy value, and not, oh, now I'm going to have to tell them about the cost per card not being this much, now it's this much, and now we have to figure out exactly, forget it. Fixed cost. Remember that when you're talking to business owners, fixed cost. Yay! Okay, so that's the training portion for today. So let's move on and to talk about kind of the motivational portion and talk about adding value, right? Kind of hit on it a little bit when I talked about the coaching that I offer for my enterprise customers and referral partners, but this is a really important thing for you to be able to wrap your head around, like, what value do you bring?